God bless you for joining. Today's broadcast is episode 7. I can't believe it's taking this long. We still have a long way to go. So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the various episodes so far. I'm still loving the views. Okay, so thank you for watching them and sharing them with your friends. If you are watching Married with a Life for the first time, my name is Mrs. Peace Amewowor. I'm the CEO of Single with a Life and Married with a Life. So today I'm going to focus more on the honeymoon. Last 2 weeks I shared more about how we planned our wedding. I left out a few things. I'm going to touch on them and then I'll come into the honeymoon itself. One of the things that normally happens is when you are in a relationship and you start courtship, it does not necessarily mean that you're going to get married. Okay, so the man has to propose. He has to ask you, would you marry me? Okay, in Africa, especially in Ghana, when we hear the word propose, I think the word propose is used wrongly in Ghana because, for us, once the person tells you, can you be my girlfriend, we call it as proposed. Okay, but there's a difference. The person asks you to be your girlfriend, and then they have to propose marriage. Okay, and you can say yes or no. Okay, and so my husband did that, and I remember the day he proposed, it was actually the Saturday that I'm supposed to visit him, because normally we did 1 week. If he visits me this week, next week I'll visit him. So that's what we're doing every weekend. And so that particular Saturday, I decided I wasn't going to drive to his place because I was tired. And at that time, the job I was doing was literally driving throughout the day because I had to go and see clients and give them loans and that kind of thing. So it was very tiring. So that particular Saturday, I decided I'm not going to drive. I'm just going to come by train. So he came to pick me up at the train station. And from the train station, he said, oh, can we go to the grocery shop, the supermarket, so that I can get some groceries? And I said, okay, let's go. So we went, he picked a few things. And when we came home, he parked at the roadside and I was expecting him to carry the groceries. And he said, I'll pick them up later. So I was thinking, why? You are not holding anything in your hands. I'm only holding my handbag. I can literally carry these groceries. So I don't see why you should go all the way to the house and come out and pick them again. So I was trying to understand the logic. And he said, oh, don't worry. And whilst he's saying, don't worry, he was going. So I was following him. And then I said to him, this decision you are making is not the best decision because I don't see why you should come back and pick it when we can pick it now. So anyway, I just followed him. We got in. And immediately he opened the door. He came straight to the sitting room, the hall. And the hall, he said that it's got a door to it. So he just came and then he closed it. I was still wondering, why is he doing everything quick? Not knowing that he has planned that he was going to propose that day. So when I walked in, I opened the sitting room, the hall, the door to the hall. And then I saw him kneeling. He had arranged flowers. He's arranged the flowers and he was into a circle and he was literally in the middle with one leg, one knee down, and he was holding the ring. So immediately I opened the door and I saw him. I screamed. I was so shocked. I was not expecting it. So I screamed. I said, Jesus. I said, Jesus. And then I jumped out of the room and locked the door. It's like, it was so funny. The way I ran out of the room. And then we started laughing. Everything now began to make sense, what he was trying to do. So I started laughing from outside the hall, and he was also laughing. So I thought, you know what, you've got to go inside now. He's still on his knees. So anyway, I got in, and the only thing I was saying was, oh, King, oh, King, oh, King. And then, because I call him King. And then he was just smiling. He was waiting for me to cool down. So when I cooled down, he said, well, once upon a time, we became friends, blah, blah, blah. He was reciting his poem. I don't even remember anything now. Everything is gone. And then he threw the question, would you marry me? And then I thought, let me make a joke. So I thought, I was looking at him. I said, let me go and think about it. And then he said, okay, no problem. And I said, of course I will marry you. Of course I will marry you. So yeah, then he put a ring on my finger. And I was so excited. I actually shared it with the coordinators. I went straight to the coordinators group and I said to them, we can't believe what happened. And they were all excited. So it was nice. It was nice. I know people whose boyfriends took them to the restaurant. They did it very grand. Some of them had a big gesture. I know a guy who actually did it in our pastor's office because the lady was in the church. The guy was outside of the church. So he came to the church. The lady didn't know. And he arranged with the pastor and they did it in the pastor's office. And she came out, she was screaming. We had a youth meeting that day. She was screaming. It was just nice. These things they are lovely. They are lovely. So if you are about to you're about to propose, think of something, something that the person will remember. It's nice. You don't have to go to the restaurant. You don't have to go to any big place. You can do it from your home nicely. You can do it in church nicely. And yeah, the most important thing is for the lady to say yes to you. Okay, so and before you propose, make sure you've done your homework well, because I can just imagine if she says no, then your face will be like, oh, that kind of thing. Anyway, so that was the thing I left out last 2 weeks, and then we had a hen night and a stag night. They call it bachelorette, I think. Yep. So the hen night, I made my bridesmaids, there were 3, they organized it. So we did it in one of them house and they did it very nicely. A few people came. So basically the idea is for you to mingle, to meet up with your friends and a few adults who can give you advice. It's like their goodbye message to you, the advice, that kind of thing. I actually wanted some adults to be there. So I chose some specific people that I want them to be there so that they can give me advice, because I knew that most of my friends were married, some were single, but sometimes you need people who have actually been married for a long time so that you can get some very sound advice, both old traditional stuff and the contemporary advice, as I call it. Yeah, so we had a mixture and it was good. It was good. My husband had his as well with his friends, and apparently they really bombarded him with a lot of information, a lot of advice, because all of them were married. So he took a book and he wrote. So when they called me, they said, your husband, he's going to deal with you the way we've given him advice and the way he was writing. I said, okay, I'm ready. So it was nice. These are some of the things that you do in preparation towards the marriage. Yeah, you need to do them because you can't go back and do them again. Yeah, so do them. And then one of the most important things to do before the wedding is moving your stuff. Okay, so I don't know who is going to move in. If the man is going to move into the woman's house, you have to find a way how to move your things in. If the lady, you are going to move into the man's house, you've got to, ideally, most of the time, is the ladies that moves into the men's house. Okay, so I moved my stuff. I started moving my stuff gradually because of my work. My work was very tedious. It was very tedious. So I started moving little by little, little by little. And because he was already living in the house, he literally had to make space for me. So in his wardrobe, we had to literally divide, where are my things going to be, where are his things going to be. So I came, excuse me, what we did to help us to make space, he had to look at some of the things that he would not need and then literally throw them away. And there were some tops that he was wearing that I didn't like. There are some guys, especially most guys are like that. They can wear one top for a long time. They wear it and then immediately you see the top, this is Mr. blah, blah, blah coming. So he kind of had a few of those, which I didn't want him to wear anymore. So when the opportunity came, it's like, okay, we have to look into our stuff. What don't we want? What are the things that you need to throw away so that I can have space? So when I moved in most of my clothing, we had to literally look through. And there were things that he didn't like me to wear either. I had this particular top, this red top with this V-neck. I think I've even done a broadcast with it before. And he didn't like it. Anytime he sees me wearing it, he will be asking so many questions. It's like literally he's telling me to stop wearing it. but I didn't see it as serious as it was until we had the Hen Night. When we had the Hen Night, one of the questions they asked him privately was, what is what kind of dress, or what is the type of top that when he sees me wearing he doesn't like, and he mentioned that particular one. So when they asked me the question, because they wanted to see whether we know each other, so they asked me the same question to see what I think he would have answered. So when they asked me, so what is the type of top or dress that you think Eden wouldn't want you to wear? And then I described it, and the lady said, yeah, that red top, he does not want you to wear it again. So I threw it away. It was one of the things I threw away. So literally we had to look through our things. And one of the things I did that I would advise singles not to do is I bought a lot of things in preparation towards my marriage. So things like plates, saucepans. I bought a dryer where we can put our laundry. We can dry our laundry. I bought a lot of things. I bought a lot of things, excuse me. I bought a lot of things, which when we were now moving our things in, he was looking at them and he said, Peace, this is not the kind of thing we want in our house. He felt like some of them were not his taste. So I threw so many things away. So many things. And we took so many things to charity. Okay, so, and the advice he gave me to give singles is that you should rather save and bring the money into the marriage than to bring items. So that's advice he said I should give to you guys. Okay, because the thing is, you don't know the person you're going to marry. You don't know their taste. You may think you know them, but you don't know how maybe they want the presentation they want to give to their home. Okay, so don't just start buying things and piling them. Wait, when the two of you come together, you can go to the shops with the money you have saved and start buying what you both like. Okay, that is one of the mistakes I did. I should have saved the money. I wasted most of them. Okay. Yeah, so I started moving my things in gradually. Most of my things were moved in by the time we had our engagement. Our engagement was on the 15th of December and the wedding was 18th, so 3 days apart. I moved in all my stuff by that time. But because we're moving it gradually, we knew which things to throw away and which things to take to charity. We had a whole luggage, a big luggage with all the clothing that we were not wearing, that we've not worn for a long time, and the ones that we didn't want to see on each other, we just packed, we folded them nicely, packed them. And initially we were thinking, you know what, when we go to Ghana, we'll probably give it to some of our Swalians, because some of the things were very new. But we recently, in our church, had, they are going to Africa, to Zimbabwe and Kenya for an outreach, and they were asking for people to bring their stuff, things that you've not used for a long time, new stuff or old stuff that you may never use again, bring them. So we took the whole thing to them. Yeah, we gave all of them to charity. Okay, so start moving in your things. Don't wait till last minute because it can be overwhelming. It can be tiring. Yeah, so get your things moving in gradually. Okay. Apologies. Okay, so the honeymoon. Okay, so the idea of a honeymoon is for you to rest. Normally when you are single, you think honeymoon is all about sex. Oh, that's the time we're going to have sex, all the sex in the world. But actually it is not. It's not all about sex. There's so many things. And the main thing is because you have spent so much time, so much energy going through the wedding preparation, the idea is that the honeymoon gives you some time to rest so that you can catch up with, your energy. I don't know if I'm putting it right. Okay, so that is the main reason for honeymoon. And then also, of course, to consummate your marriage. That is your first sex. And then to chill. Just to enjoy each other's presence before you start going back to work and all of that. Okay, so we did not go to our honeymoon straight away. We did not go away to anywhere. the first 2 days we were at home. So after the wedding, it was raining. We finished the wedding around, I think, 5 o'clock. Most of the things were done. So we left there around 5:30, and it was raining. Seriously, it was very cold and raining at the same time, so you can imagine. And then we had to go to our church to sign the certificate, the marriage certificate. So we traveled back to London, and then I think when we got there, there was traffic on the way as well. So by the time we got there, it was almost like 7 o'clock, around 7:30. And then we did all the signing. Parents did their signing, the pastors, and then we took photos, and then we came back. So my husband drove us back, just the two of us. We drove back to the house. We didn't sleep at the hotel, even though we did a wedding at the hotel. We didn't sleep at the hotel. We didn't go anywhere. We came straight home. And on our way home, we ordered for food online to be delivered to us because we didn't eat at the wedding. You know, all the nice food they were serving. I actually wanted to eat. My husband said he didn't feel like we should eat. And because I know how he is in terms of he can sense things. Sometimes he can sense something. So when he says we're not supposed to do this, okay, that's fine. And we didn't eat. The people, our matron, actually, the wedding matron, she packaged some of the food because she said, okay, I know you people don't want to eat at the moment, but I'm sure that when you get home, you'll be hungry. So she packaged some of the food. Still, we didn't eat it. So we had food ordered for us and delivered to us, and then we ate. When we finished, what did we do again? Anyway, so that means that the whole day, I only had breakfast because at the wedding, at the hotel, I slept there with my bridesmaids the day before. So in the morning, we just had breakfast. All of us went to have breakfast around 6 o'clock before the makeup artist and the hairdresser came in, the photographer came in, and then we started dressing up. So that was all the food I ate the whole day. I'm sure my husband didn't eat anything at all because he came home. He was probably fasting. He didn't eat anything. So, and then I had also, after the engagement, I cooked. I made some grilled fish and then fried rice, and I made some stew, and then we put in the fridge just in case because we knew that we were going to be at home for some time before we go for our honeymoon. So I made some food. So the lady, you can cook. The man, if you know how to cook. Yeah, cook something and put in the fridge so that when your wife comes and join you, there's food. Yeah, it shouldn't always be the woman cooking. I'm sure one of these days my husband and I will do a joint video, and then we would share some of the ways that we live. Okay, sometimes we think like certain things are only for ladies to do, but you can have a joint. Whoever is good at it can do it. Yeah, so if you can cook and leave it there in the fridge before the lady comes. Yeah. So we were advised by a friend, a couple, when we visited them during our courtship. They advised us. It was an advice that was given to him when he was getting married, so he thought it was good for us to also know. He advised us that we should not consummate the marriage at a hotel. We should not have our first sex at a hotel. And the reason is because the hotel bed is a public bed. Okay, you don't have to take what I'm saying, but for us, it made sense to us and we took it on board. Okay, so the hotel bed is a public bed. There are so many people who have slept on that bed with all kinds of agenda. Somebody can go and get, excuse me to say, a prostitute, and they come and sleep there. Somebody can go and get somebody's wife and cheat there. Somebody's husband cheats. You know, all kinds of things have happened on that bed. And people have all sorts of spirit. There are some people, when they sleep at a place, when they are living, they leave their spirit there. They leave a part of them there. So he was saying that because it's so much of a public place and marriage is very holy and sacred, it is advisable that you do not consummate it in a public place like a hotel. So the advice was, yes, you want to go away, but first of all, consummate the marriage in your own home, in your own bed that nobody has slept on, apart from you and your husband. Okay, so that was the advice he gave us, and it sounded good. So we took it on board. So the first 2 days we were home. We didn't go to anywhere. We consummated our marriage in our home. And so when we got home from the wedding, we ordered the food, we ate, and then we sat down, rested a bit, chat a bit, tried to talk about the wedding. Oh, it was nice. How did it go? It was nice. We enjoyed it. And then now I wanted to go and wash my face, because you know when you on the wedding day they will sandpaper your face, as we call it. They will put so many heavy makeup, all sorts of layers, and I'm not used to heavy makeup. I'm a very light makeup person. So my face was I was looking beautiful though. But then I thought, okay, before we go to jump to the bed, I'm not going to go with all this thing, because I could soil the bed with it. So I wanted to go and wash my face, and then after that, I'll bath. And so when I went I said, okay, I'm going to wash my face. And he followed me. I was still in my gown. He followed me, and he said, okay. I said, I'm going to wash my face. He said, yeah, I'm going to stand here and watch you wash your face. I thought, okay. And I was thinking, okay, what is he going to think after I finish washing my face? Because you know how on the wedding day they will put all sorts of things. They did my eyelashes, and I was literally going to take them off one after the other, wipe my eyebrow, and then take off my lipstick, and you come back to your original self. So I was just looking at the whole process. I was like, my goodness. And this place is a very good, it's a good place for me to say this. If you've got a lot of pimples or spots, if your facial skin is very bad, please make sure that the man you are marrying has seen your natural face. Okay? Don't cover, because makeup, nowadays there's some makeup, by the time they finish with your face will look like a newborn baby, So maybe you've been doing all this, the guy thinks your face is so smooth, and then you go and wash your face and you look like a caricature, excuse me to say, and your face is like a monster. Already he'll be looking at you and say, hey, is that what I married? One of our pastors made a joke some years ago. He said there was this man who got married, and when they went to the hotel, the night, the lady had to take off her stuff. First of all, she took off her teeth. She was wearing artificial teeth. She removed the teeth. The man said, hey. And then she put her hand in her bra and removed all the foam that she's put into her breast. And then, as if that is not enough, her bum, she removed the bum. And the man didn't know whether he should disappear or whether he should cry. He didn't know what he was marrying. So many ladies nowadays are deceiving our men, okay? They put on all this, they wear all these padded bras, and their breasts look big. And some men likes big breasts, So they see that, they think, oh, she's my taste. You have the shock of your life. And I actually heard this true story whereby the lady, her face was very bad, and the guy has never seen her natural face. So he went there one day to visit unawares, and the lady came out with the natural face, and the man said, what? Is this you? You deceived me. And it almost destroyed the whole thing. They almost stopped the wedding because of this. People had to come in and advise them, counsel them to be able to go ahead. So please, let the man see whatever scars you've got, whatever facial, whatever you've got, any disease, any sickness you've got, my dear, tell him, tell her. If she still accepts you for who you are, then you've got a wife. If he still accepts you, then you've got a good husband. But if immediately you tell the person, I've got scars, I've got this, my face is rotting, I've got these pimples here, da 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 da, I've got this disease, and they start running away, then you know they were never for you. They were never for you, okay? And you shouldn't even cry about them. Let them go, okay? So luckily for me, because I'm not a heavy makeup person, he had already seen my face, and my face is not that bad, okay? So he had already seen my skin, so it wasn't, even though I was conscious that, oh, you know, 1 minute you were looking all, and then all of a sudden you've wiped everything, and he's standing there looking at you, removing everything. I was like, wow, you know. So that was what happened. And whilst we were in the bathroom washing, the body was already reacting. I'm not going to go too much into details. You already know what I mean. If you don't know, ask questions. Okay, let me see. I can see a lot of people are laughing. Yeah. Okay. So we had our bath. And one of the things I would advise that you do on your honeymoon is to bath together. And even after the honeymoon, once you start living together, bath together. Okay. It's actually nice, especially if you are going to somewhere. You are going to church at the same time. You are going out at the same time. When you bath together, it actually saves time, because if it's just you going to bath, you probably take like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And if the two of you, that's like 40 minutes. But if you bath together, you will have it. Yeah, so you make good use of the time. I mentioned this on the Amewowor group some time ago, and somebody said, oh, I heard that you shouldn't bath together with your husband because it will make him lose interest in you. And I said, okay, what is the rationale behind it? Why? And what will make him lose interest? And the person couldn't answer. I said, okay, she can't answer, because sometimes people tell us things, but they don't give us a breakdown of what they mean. Yeah. And I've always said that when somebody says something to you, if you don't have a good understanding of why they are saying it, don't jump into taking it on board. Okay. Ask a lot of questions before you do it. Okay. I know that it is nice. You can't do it every time anyway, because you are not going to be at home all the time together. So once in a while, you bath together, and then from there, things can start happening. Yeah. So we bath together, and then, of course, we started all the romance from the bathroom. We did a few stuff there, and then we took it to the bedroom, and I had this fear that sex is going to be painful. And the reason is because I wasn't sexually active when I got married. Yeah, both of us had very little experience about sex. So I was thinking, how is it going to be like the first night? Am I going to be able to do it? And that kind of thing. But it was interesting. I didn't feel so much pain like I thought. It was still painful, but it wasn't as much as I thought. And I believe it's because we were both ready. It's like when you are well lubricated, or as we call it, wet, it's easy for the penis to move in smoothly. This is very hard for me to say. Okay. Yeah, it's very hard. It's very easy for things to go in smoothly and all of that. I will shed more about that, and I hope that one of these days we will do a whole broadcast on sex, and then my husband will share some of his, and then I'll share mine. Okay, so it wasn't as scary and bad as I thought. Apologies. I think it's because when I was washing my face, he was already standing there watching, and then so like the body was already getting prepared, and it was easy. So the man try and help the lady to remove her gown. Don't let her remove it herself, and the lady too, don't be in a hurry to remove it and all of that. Wait for your husband to undress you. It's just nice. It just helps your body to start preparing itself for sex. Okay. And then, so we finished everything off in the bedroom, and I was thinking, it's not as bad as I thought. So the first 2 days, we spent it at home. So we got married on the Tuesday, 18th. And then 19th, 20th, 21st was a Friday, getting to Christmas. And then we went away for our honeymoon. We went for 6 days. My husband drove. It was a 4 hours drive. And, we actually booked 2 hotels. So the first hotel we used was very close to the city center. And they only provided us with breakfast and dinner. So it means that we didn't have lunch from there. So the lunch time was when we actually go out and get food. But the day that we arrived early, earlier than the time that we were scheduled to book in. So we just toured the city a bit. We found a parking, toured the city, and then we came back to the hotel. And by the time we came back, we were tired. So we went straight to bed. We had a shower together, and then we slept. And so it wasn't straight into sex again. Yeah, we just slept. And then in the evening, we tried to do something, but this time around, it was painful. Okay, so as I said, if you are not sexually active or you've not had sex for a very long time, there are some people, the only time they've had sex is when they were like children. You know, in Ghana, when I was in the village, we had this mommy and daddy. When you play in the night, and they say, "Oh, you are the mom, I'm the daddy," and that kind of thing. Then you do little touches there, but that really is not sex because your body is not matured. It's just children stuff, you know. But when you are fully adult and you've not had sex, and you have to have sex with a full adult, you are going to experience some pain, yeah. And I did experience it. In fact, my husband was very, very patient. Because he was also exploring. It was all new to us, and it was all new to us. I was trying to be strong. He was also trying not to hurt me, to be more patient. But one of the things you realize is that when a man is about to ejaculate, naturally they hit harder and faster. Those of you who have had sex before, you know this. And I'm not expecting any swelling to have had sex though. If not, I'll use my metacane on you. The married people, you know this, that, you know, the man naturally, I think that's the time they are also into it and they are enjoying and they want to hit harder. I think the harder and faster they hit, the more exciting or enjoyable they feel it. So at that time, there's nothing much that a man will do. He can do. He wants to still be slow and patient with you, but trust me, he's going to hit. So I had some of those times, and it was like I had some screams. Honestly, and it was painful. And I remember there was a time that he had to say sorry, and I'm like, don't worry, I know. You can't just help it because you have to brave it at some point, because if you don't brave it, it's going to take longer for you to overcome the pain, yeah, as a lady. And one of the feelings that you have is that you feel a burning sensation. I felt a burning sensation, which made it very difficult for me. So after the sex, it was difficult for me to go a second round. So, you know, sometimes you hear people say, we went on honeymoon and we spent all our time having sex. Maybe those people were already sexually active, so their body has already adjusted. Okay, so such people, they can have 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 rounds. We couldn't do that. You know, we were trying at least once a day to do it. But there were some days that I just couldn't, because I could feel the burning sensation. And one of the mistakes that we did, which I will also advise that you don't do, is when I felt that burning sensation and I thought, okay, maybe give me 2 days so that I can heal, and then we can do it again. And then we took a few days off. And when we came back to do it again, it felt as if I was starting all over again. It was even more painful. So I was like, so when we finished, I was like, but I thought because we've done a few times it would be more widened, for me to feel more, for it to be more smoother. But it was still, so I was saying to him, what happened? I feel like we are just starting all over again. And he said he was even surprised because he also felt, the same thing. So don't think because you are feeling the pain, you're going to leave too much time. Because what it does is the place, I don't know how it works, but I think maybe the place seals up again. I don't know. Okay, when I'm talking about the place, I'm sure you understand. Don't leave too much gap. So what I had to decide was for us to get over this quickly, at least once a day, we have to do it. So maybe if we have sex in the morning, we wouldn't do anything again until maybe the next morning or in the evening when I feel like it's much better. And I can tell you, it can be painful. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, okay, because we want to be real so that when you go on your honeymoon, especially if you are not sexually active, you know what to expect, okay? It may not be as painful, but you will feel some kind of pain, especially when the guy is ejaculating, you will feel some kind of pain. And some people would take along lubrication, the gel. There's one called the KY gel. It's a natural one, the water-based one. My only thing is, personally, anything that is chemicals, because whether it's water-based, whatever, for it to be formed the way it is, there was already some chemical to make it become the way it is. So for me, anything that you are introducing into your private part, you've got to be careful about it. So what I have discovered in this 6 months is that if you have a good foreplay and you are naturally lubricated, you are naturally wet, you will reduce pain. Okay, I discovered that very quickly. So I never encouraged the gel. My husband picked one up at a shop. He went to the shop and he saw one. He thought, oh, it's water-based, let's get it. And he brought it home, and I said to him, I don't think I'm going to really, because he was thinking about me, do you have to go through pain? Maybe we can make it easy. Yeah. And I said to him that I think we should have a good foreplay. So we invested time into it. So what we do is we try and do, even if it's 10 minutes that the foreplay will take for you to feel the need for him to enter, because you literally have to come to the place whereby you as a lady, you are in the mood and you are literally feeling like this is the time for him to penetrate. Okay, you will feel it when you are well lubricated and you have had a good foreplay. You will feel, you will literally tell him, please enter or please penetrate, because it feels that way. Okay, so work on your foreplay. It is very important. Don't dwell too much on gel, on the lubricant, because what it does is it can rob you of your foreplay, because you're always looking for a quick fix. It's a quick fix, because once you rub it, everything goes in smoothly, but you've robbed yourself of the joy, that bond that you would have had in the foreplay. So don't focus too much on lubricant. Okay, I can literally tell you how many times we've used this. It's just sitting there. Okay, so that is my personal experience, and it has worked for me. I think foreplay is key. Yeah, once you are able to get yourself into that place, you don't need lubrication and you don't need a lubricant. And I mean, if you're a young person, you're a young couple, what are you doing with lubricant? You don't. So work on yourself. If you are maybe older, because sometimes the body naturally will not be able to lubricate and all of that, maybe by age or if you have a medical condition. But if you are young and you are healthy, please You and your husband. You know, men are such that they want quick. Immediately he's ready, he wants to enter. He wants to jump on. But you, the lady, you can slow him down. You can slow him down. Okay, and it's up to you, the two of you, what you do that will work for the two of you. So once again, don't think that because it's your honeymoon, you have to have sex every day and you have to have plenty sex. If you cannot do it, you cannot do it. And I'm telling you, if it is your first time or you've not done it for ages, you can't even do it twice a day. You can't. I'm telling you from my experience, because the place you just feel this burning sensation and you just want to rest. Okay, so don't kill yourself. And the man, you've got to understand this. Don't put pressure on her. You should be happy that, you know, you met a woman who has not been around the block. Okay, you should be happy and give her your support. Be patient with her, because I mean, you're going to stay with this lady for the rest of your life, and one day she'll get used to it. Okay, I can literally say that it was I think getting to our 5th to the 6th month, that was when I felt like there was no longer that burning sensation, or when I finish having sex, it doesn't feel like, oh, I've had sex, like that kind of, you feel like the place is, no. It's much better now. And they will tell you, you know, my matron, I remember when, after the wedding, and matron, she sent me a message, she said, "Peace, I know you are a woman on mission. However, make sure you do not become a missionary wife." And what she means is, you know, the sexual positions, there is a missionary position, that one is the most common position, whereby the lady lies backwards and the man lies on top of her, and that kind of thing is the normal, the usual one, sexual position. So she was literally telling me, you know, you're a woman on mission, but don't be a missionary woman, a missionary wife. And she said to me, your first night may not be that great, but trust me, going forward, it's going to get better. And it's true, it gets better, because you are both beginning to now understand your bodies. You know, I struggled to know my sensitive parts. It was like, how do you know? And for me, when you touch me, everywhere it tickles. So I'll start laughing. I laugh. I say, oh, it's tickling. And I'll be laughing. And I remember I said to him, are you sure this ticklish thing is not the same thing they are talking about? That is not the same sensitive thing? And he said, please, no. Your sensitive part is supposed to actually make you feel like you want to be touched more. When they touch that place, it puts you on to make you want to have sex. Okay, so it's not the same as the ticklish. When you are ticklish, you can't even have sex. You will just be laughing and that kind of thing. So yeah, if it hurts, the ladies, don't pretend. Let the guy know that, I'm sorry, it's hurting. Yeah, it's hurting, and so that they can slow down. Okay. But once in a while, he's going to hit. He's going to hit hard. You've got to endure. Yeah. Okay. So I've just said the advice. Make sure that you don't leave so much gap because you want to heal, because it just delays the whole process, and it will take you time, at least 5 to 6 months, depending on your body. Okay, depending on your body and how many times you are having sex. If you try and you do it every day, maybe you'll get there quicker. But it does take time. Yeah. So that is our first sex. It was exciting, and it's getting better by the day. Okay. And then some of the things that we did at the honeymoon. So our first hotel that we booked was in the city center. So it meant that when we go out for our lunch, we just tour the place. We did a lot of touring of the city. We took photos, videos of the place, the restaurant we went to, the food, we took photos of it. And then that was, yeah, so for the first 3 days we were at that hotel, and then from 24th of December we went into another hotel, and this hotel was at the outskirts of the city, so it was a very, very, very quiet place, and I actually liked the change of environment. So it was a quiet place. We were there for another 3 days, so we actually spent Christmas in that hotel, and because it was very quiet, a quiet area, we spent most of our times indoors, and we watched a lot of movies. My husband got hooked on to movies that I never knew he loved movies until that day. It was just so shocking. And anytime I slept, I did a lot of sleeping during that time. And anytime I woke up, he was watching TV. Even in the night, he was watching movies on his iPad, his tablet. And I was like, you do like movies like that? And some of them I had to watch, just to make up the time, enjoy it with him. So I watched them. And then we watched this Nigerian movie, nice Nigerian movie. It was very, very comedy, very, very funny. And the lady had a name that she calls sex. There's a particular name she used. When she wants to say sex, she's got this particular name. So we adopted a name. So sometimes when we are home, I would just say, if I want to, bring his attention to the fact that, oh, are we going to have sex? I would just mention that name and we laugh. Okay. He started watching the movie, and then during the process, he fell asleep, and I got hooked to it because it was a very interesting movie. So we watched a lot of movies, and then even when we got home, he was still watching because we were at home for almost 2 weeks to 3 weeks before we started working. Okay, so a lot of movies, a lot of sleeping. We had sex as to when we can, and then, yep. Let me go to this page. And then we did a little bit of shopping. I needed some stuff, some winter stuff. So I did a bit of shopping there. And then, yeah. So some of the things, we didn't do a lot of things. Actually, it was more to rest. It was more to rest. So it depends on where you go, the country you go to, the place you go to, and what is there. If there are a lot of sightseeing, it will be good for you to go around and look at the place and enjoy the place. But the honeymoon, the whole idea of honeymoon is literally to rest. So that's what we did. And then some of the things that I would say that when you are going on a honeymoon, you should take along is comfortable clothing. Okay, it's just like when you are traveling to, maybe you're going to a hotel, traveling to sleep over at a hotel. The normal things that you take things that are nice, because this is your first time together as a couple. So carry comfortable clothing for walking, comfortable shoes. Carry along your perfume, sexy panties. Don't be wearing this. I was going to buy one and show some of the full brave panties are very nice, but all your panties shouldn't be everything that covers. Have some that are the tongue. You can wear the tongue whereby it's just a small line. When we did this on our Amewowor page on WhatsApp, and one of the guys actually sent us sexy panties for men. I never knew that men have G-string, the tongue pants. I didn't know they wear some. He sent us photos, and I was watching. I said to my husband, "You need to wear this." He was laughing. I said, "You will wear this?" So I just can't imagine a man in it. It was so funny, but they do. So find out, the guys, find out some of these panties, sexy panties that you can wear. It's not only the ladies, okay? Go with nice night wears, okay? One of the things that I bought during my preparation towards marriage was night wears. I bought a lot of panties and a lot of nightgowns. Some of the nightgowns, my husband doesn't like them. Okay, so again, save the money. Okay, unless you know his taste. Okay, Because sometimes I wear them, it's like, this one is not you, this is not you. And then some I wear, it's like, this is you, this is you. So you have to make sure that you are buying things that he likes, but you wouldn't know until you start living together. So save the money, and then maybe when you go on your honeymoon, you can go and buy some of these things. Okay, you go together, and then you choose what he would like, you choose what she would like, because it's in your bed, it's in your room. You have to look good for each other. Okay, nice boxers, and then get a shower cap. I should have brought one here to show you. A shower cap to cover your hair, so that when you go into the shower, you can be free to shower without thinking about your hair and that kind of thing. I didn't take one, so when we went to the honeymoon, we went to the shop and we got one. And then I got these things here. I've got some things I'm going to show you. I said, ladies have lingerie bag to keep your underwears. Okay, so I've got this. This is where there's no panty in here. What is here? When I was packing it, my husband was looking at me, it's like, are you serious? I just put clothing in there. Okay, I've got some clothing. I'm going to show you just a demonstration. Yeah, literally, this is where I keep all my used panties. Okay, so when you finish wearing it, because some of us, we don't wash our panties immediately we finish using them. Some people, when they finish using their panties, they wash it immediately. Okay, there are some people, they pile them up and then soak them and wash everything together. And when you go out to the hotel, even though you may wash it as you go, I think for me, I put them in here. Okay, so when we went to the hotel, I just packed them. When I finish using, I packed his as well there. So when we finish using, we put it there and then we seal it. Like, yeah, so that your used panties are not scattered all over. This is a dress, a long dress. So literally, you just fold them, and then you put them in, fold them nicely, put them in. And then when you are ready to wash them, you wash them. So you can leave this in your laundry basket. Okay, so it's not mixed with your clothing, your dirty clothing. You put them separately. You can get this from Amazon. It wasn't expensive at all. Okay, they've got different ones that you can get. And then I'll show you, this is where I keep my panties, my unused panties. So when I wash my panties, I put everything here. I'll show you how this is. Again, these are not panties. I've just put some of my clothing in there to make it look full. Okay, so this is how it looks. It's got this pocket whereby you can fold your panties and put them. Initially, when I was buying it online, I thought it was big, so I was planning that I'm going to put my underwears, braziers, panties and nightgowns at the same place to make it easy for me to know where they are, so that I can pick them when I need them. Okay, it also makes you look organized. And first impression is very important, because you don't want maybe your wife, your husband respect you so much. Your wife respects you so much, and then you start living together, and all your things are scattered, all your panties are scattered, your used pants is lying here, your socks is flying here, and it just makes you look disorganized. It's not nice. Yeah. So this is a verse I'm going to show you. So some of the panties, the ones that you can put them here. So literally, that's how you fold them. I'm going to put them in and I'll show you. Yeah, and then you arrange them nicely. Oh, I should have brought this. I've got this nice box that I put my makeup in. So that one too, your makeup does not need to be scattered all over. And then, so I've got the same place I put my makeup, and then my nail polish, because they have the box has different compartments that you can put these things in. I'm just folding them. I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, so get something. And the reason why I did this is I heard a story. There's one of our pastors our UK Swal pastors who got married some years ago. He was the first Swalian who got married in UK. And then I used to speak to him over the phone. So he told me that there's this lady that he wanted to marry. And he went to visit the lady one day. When he went, they were in the room. And the lady went to the kitchen to get something. So he quickly went to the lady's wardrobe to check how her wardrobe looked. When he opened the wardrobe, he saw a lot of panties, used panties, flying everywhere. They were just lying there anyhow. And he said he felt it was so disgusting, and he just lost interest in the lady just like that. He couldn't stand it. So from that day, that was the end of it. He's married now, recently had another child, 2 children now. Yeah, and happily married. We went to the wedding. It was very nice. Okay, so anytime I remember that story, I'm saying, oh, because there are some people, they just cannot stand, they can't stand mess, especially things to do with women. Some people, even when they see your bra and it's looking dark, it put them off. Some men are very fussy. Some women too are very fussy. They just can't stand those things, okay? Even some, when they see those things, they start developing rashes. It's that bad, okay? So you need to know your man, you need to know your woman, but ideally, carry yourself well, okay? Hopefully, we'll talk about menstruation at some point, but I'll do it on the SWAL group because we've done it as a whole discussion on the WhatsApp group, and you should come and hear what the men were saying. Some men just cannot stand to see your blood around, so you need to carry yourself very well. So I've just folded them. If it's panties, of course, it's going to look nicer than this. It will be more presentable. So you fold the panties like this and put them in, and then you put the rest in here. So these are not panties, this is just my skirt. I'm just this is proper work. The skirt. Yeah, so this can be your bra or your nightgown, and then you put it in there. And then you fold it, you close it, yeah, and then you sit it somewhere comfortably around your luggage, okay, or in your wardrobe, and that's it. It looks presentable, nice. Your panties are not scattered. When you finish using it, you put it there, and then you soak them together and wash them. When you finish, you dry them very nicely. On the dryer, okay, and you are good to go. And then there's this towel. It's a facial towel, okay. It depends on you. You can go for white or you can go for any color. For me, anything to do with the private part, I normally like to use white because I want to see what is going on there. So this, when you finish having sex, you can use it to wipe off the fluid, the semen, the sperm, whatever, okay? You can use it. Some people use tissues, but use the tissues that will not tear because some of them are not very strong. So you use it and then it is all over your private part. It's not nice. So get something that is easy to use and make sure you have as many as possible. Get like 7 or 5 to 7. When I was getting married, my maid of honor, the chief bridesmaid, she told me that when I'm coming to the hotel, she's been married for 11 years, but she's kept herself very well, so she looks very small like me. And then she wanted me, she just said to me, when you are coming, bring facial towels. You know, I kind of caught the idea what she was trying to say. She wanted to teach me how to use it, but unfortunately I forgot. So it was when we got there, I remembered, I just forgot. But then we have got white towels that we use. When you finish the meal, wipe the lady. It's your sperm. Wipe her. Okay, the lady, you can also wipe him, but ideally, you the man, wipe her and wipe yourself. Okay, but if you can wipe each other, wipe each other. Hopefully, it wouldn't splash. No, most of the time it doesn't. So you wipe yourself, and the towel can smell if you don't wash it properly. So what we do is, when we finish using it, we don't our laundry basket. We don't normally put it in that one. We put it in a different one, and then we soak it and wash them in the washing machine. And then we use conditioner. It's the liquid. It's a scented liquid. We put it on into the washing machine to give it a nice smell. Okay, so at the moment, it's smelling nice. We've had it for a long time. It's smelling nice. And ideally, try and get a white one, because if you use a black one or a red one, if there is some stain in it, you wouldn't see. Okay, the same thing. Even menses, when you are having your menses, if you like, buy specific, maybe cotton panties, white panties that you can use, because it's blood, you don't want to see it. So most people will wear red panties or black panties, but what it does is, when there's a stain, you wouldn't see the stain. So you are washing it, but still the stain is there. And sometimes these things causes the panties to smell. So when you are wearing it, your vagina is smelling, and you think that somebody thinks that you are not bathing properly, but actually the pants, because they are still, the stain is still there, that is not going. Yeah, but if it's white and you soak it, if the stain is still there, you see that it is there. So then you're able to wash it properly and get rid of it. Okay, so that's my advice. Most people will use tissues, but if you want to use towels, you can use towel. Yeah, that's my little experience so far. I hope it has helped somebody. Okay, and then I got these tips from the Amewowor group. Somebody said, go to the beach. So when you're on your honeymoon, if there's a beach where you are, go to the beach. He said, have in your luggage some games to play. Games. It can be Ludo. It can be, what are the other games? Yeah, pick some good Christian books on marriage to read together. We didn't read anything on the honeymoon. Nah. I would advise that you should start reading. Read because on the honeymoon, that's not the time to be sitting down and reading. You should be reading. You should read before the honeymoon. Okay, but it's a good advice if you are going to be at the honeymoon for a long time, because some people go for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The minimum I've seen in the Western world is 1 week. In Africa, especially Ghana, most people don't even go on honeymoon. Some of them go for like 2 days to the hotel, 3 days, and they come back, or they go and spend a night at the hotel and come back. It's up to you. You don't have to go on a hotel. Okay, so you don't have to go and consummate the marriage at the hotel. You can set up your house in such a way that the scene, the scenery, the mood, you put it in a mood that is sexual, so that it keeps you, it's almost like you are in a hotel, kind of. Okay, so before you go to the wedding, you try and put the place in order. You put your bedroom, you get some candles, put the place in order such a way that when you come back, it will feel like, this is different. So you don't have to go on a honeymoon. Yeah, you don't have to. It's up to you. I've always said, work according to what you have. If you don't have the money to go and book a hotel to go to another country, don't go. Simple. Yeah. And then he said, pick your Bible and devotional guide. Did we even pick our Bible? We had prayed. The honeymoon wasn't the time for Bible reading. Honestly, we still prayed because before we sleep, we pray. We wake up, we pray. So we still prayed, but then we didn't take any Bible and sit down and read and do devotional. I'm being honest, we didn't. Okay. And then he said, take lubricant for lovemaking. I've already touched on that. Unless it's very, very needed, you don't need to take it, because you can always have good foreplay to put you at that position. And then be careful what you eat during your honeymoon and what time you eat, especially if you are going to be at home for some time. We were at home for 2 to 3 weeks after when we came back from the honeymoon. We were home for some time before we started working, and we were eating our cake. The cake that was made for us, it was a gift, and it was big. It was big. You know, when I saw the cake, I think all the time that I was at the hall, I didn't even realize the cake until it was time for us to go and cut the cake. And I saw it, I said, my goodness. So we brought the whole cake home, and we've just been eating it. And because we were home for some time, we were not sleeping early, and we were just eating anyhow. So my husband, especially in the night, around 10, 11, we'll be talking, and he would jump out of the bed. He said, I'm hungry. Just like that, I'm hungry. He would jump out and straight to the kitchen. He would just go straight to the kitchen. And I also jump and follow him. By the time I follow him to the kitchen, I'll go and find him eating cake. So the cake we ate, I think he just left. They said we have to leave a whole tier for our firstborn. When we have our firstborn, I don't think we have any tier left. We've got some still in the freezer, but we've eaten most of it. So literally, he would just jump and go to the kitchen, and I'll follow him. So I'll find him eating the cake, and he'll be like, do you also want to eat? And I said, yes. Even when I don't want to eat, I'll start eating. So I was following him. Anytime he jumps to the kitchen, I would jump and follow him. We're eating. And it wasn't long, my cheeks started pumping, started shooting. So one day he was looking at me. He said, this night eating is not good for you. It's not good for you. You've got to stop. And I said, okay, you've got to set a good example for me. You'll be eating any time, and I'll be following you. And then he said, well, you've got a choice. You've got a choice not to follow me. And I said, set a good example. He said, you've got a choice. I said, okay, no more eating cake in the night. So I stopped. But once in a while, when I feel like I want to eat cake, I'll just go and cut and then eat. So literally, I think I put on weight from that cake. Basically, I put on weight. And we were not sleeping early as well. We were eating very late and sleeping late. And then before we got married, we used to exercise. I used to exercise since 2012. I started exercising. So before we got married, things were very tough. I couldn't exercise, and my job was very tedious as well, so I couldn't exercise. And especially with him, he was exercising even, I think, a few weeks to the wedding. And because of the amount of the pressure, the amount of work he needed to do, and plus the wedding, he lost so much weight. So his cheeks were like that. Literally, you could see the hole in there. So I look at him and I said, you are looking like, I said, please, you've got to stop exercising. So he stopped exercising. And then when we got married, after the honeymoon, I started putting on weight, and he was like, no, you have to go back to the exercise. And it was a struggle for me to start. And that's the thing about exercise. When you exercise and you leave it for some time, when you are starting again, it's almost like you've never exercised. And it was very difficult. And, you know, Saturdays he would say, we're going for jogging. He would wake me up. And where we are is so hilly. Sometimes I'll be running and I'm not able to climb the hill. I start walking. And it's like, you've got to conquer this hill. You've got to conquer this hill. And I'm like, I've never run on your hill before. This is my first time. Let me do it at my pace. You know, and it was difficult. I think we had to do that. It was the third time. That was when I was able to run without stopping for like 20 minutes. I was able to run without stopping. And he pretended as if he didn't see it. I was expecting that he would say, oh, well done. Nothing. And I was so angry when we were coming home. I was angry. I was thinking I'm going to say to him, so are you trying to say that you didn't see that today I conquered the mountain? I conquered the hill. And the Holy Spirit asked me, he said, who are you exercising for? Is it him or yourself? And I said, myself. He said, okay, then there's no cause. You have no reason to fight him over this. Anyway, so we started doing our exercising again. When we started the fasting, of course, you can't be exercising and fasting. I couldn't do it anyway, so I'm not exercising at the moment. Okay, so those are the things. Get back to yourself. The things that you used to do that were good for you, go back to it, and then start your life on a good mood, on a good note, because after the honeymoon, you come back to reality. That is when, you start going back to work again, and you're probably going to see each other less, and you start paying bills and all of that. So don't overspend during the honeymoon. Stick to your budget. If you budgeted that you are going to spend £200 on the honeymoon, or £1,000 or £500, or how much on the honeymoon, try and stick to it, because if you overspend and then you come back to real life, you are now going to struggle. Okay, so be mindful of how much you spend during your honeymoon. Okay, so this is all I have for you for our honeymoon. Let me see if there's any question on board. Okay, no question. If you've got any question you want to ask, please feel free to ask the question. But that's all I have for you concerning the honeymoon. Hopefully in 2 weeks' time, we'll come back and then we'll talk about life after the honeymoon. Because it's amazing how when you are in the relationship, even on the honeymoon, there are certain things you will not notice about each other until you start living together and you notice, oh, he's like this, she's like that. There are things that I like to do, he doesn't like to do. There's a way that I eat that I didn't realize that I eat that way. And then he's like, do you realize that when you eat, you make noise? Do you realize that you do this? Do you realize that you do that? And, little adjustments, because there are certain things that you would do that he may not like, that she would do that you will not like. So when you start living together, that's when you start picking up on those things. There are so many things that are so different that I didn't know. Even when we did a discussion on the small WhatsApp group, and my husband listed the differences between me and him, some of the adjustments we've made, and I think that was the first 3 months or 4 months. And when I read through it, I thought, wow, I didn't even realize. I read through and I was laughing. I said, whoa. So all of this, all of this, all of that. One example is that my husband, when we make like chips, potato chips, when we grill the chips, he doesn't like them to be too crispy. Okay, he likes them soft. And I like them crispy. It has to literally feel a bit hard before I can enjoy it. So you can imagine, how do we do it? So sometimes what I do is, before it gets crispy, I will take his out and then leave the rest in the oven for it to get crispy, because that's what I want. So things like that. And these are things that you can fight over, because one person can say, oh, I like it this way, and that's it. So you have to take away selfishness to be able to really enjoy each other, because there are definitely things that you will pick up that you don't like. And you realize that one person may pick up on so many things, and the other person is probably not picking up on anything, and it doesn't mean that the other person cannot see your mistakes, but it's just that everybody has the way they handle things. I'm the type of person that it will take me a lot to pick up on something. I only pick up on things when I can see that they've got consequences, a long-term one. But if it's something that is very, I don't pick up on it, because it doesn't hurt me. And, so we are all different people, and you realize that as you come to live together, there are so many things that you see that you are so different. In the relationship, it looks like you are so similar. You almost love the same things. And then all of a sudden it's like, I didn't even realize you don't like this. You don't like that. You don't like that. My husband doesn't like hot food. Initially when I cook, I like the food to be hot, proper boiling hot, and then I will literally be taking it and I will be, that is what I like. But he doesn't like the food to be hot. He just like it a little bit warm. He comes and he takes it and he's gone. So I didn't know, and I will make the food and it's so hot, and I serve the food and my husband sit down and he's literally playing with the food. I always, whenever I say this, it's so funny. It's like he will sit behind the food. You know how when you give a child a food, you give a child a food and the child doesn't want to eat the food, and they are just literally sitting there and they are playing with the food. That's exactly how I describe it. Not that he physically does that, but the way he sits behind the food and it's like he's looking at the food and he's not eating and he's just sitting there. And I'm like, Ken, are you okay? Are you okay? And he said, it's too hot. It's too hot. And I'm saying, this is not hot. It's perfect. So I had to learn that. And literally, I had to warm up the food. If it's not fresh food and I'm warming it up, I warm his up first. And then I would warm mine. So by the time I finish warming mine up, his has cooled down a bit for him to be able to eat. Sometimes when we are eating together from the same plate, and I'll talk more about the next 2 weeks because there's a way he likes. It's just funny, and you don't pick up on these things until you start living together. And, when we are eating from the same plate, I will have to make sure that the food is literally getting cold. And that's not me. So I think he has also kind of he's beginning to understand that this is what I also like. I like the food to be hot. So sometimes he just compromises. He said, go and warm it up. Because by the time we start eating, it gets to a certain point and I'm like, it's too cold. It's too cold. And he said, no problem, go and warm it up. And I'll go and warm it up. So you would have to compromise if you want things to work. You have to adjust and make each other feel better, feel good, that they've married a good woman, a good man. It's not that every time you want to have your way, I want to do this. This is how I like it. And it is fine now. You're going to have issues if you are like that. Okay. So I'm going to love and leave you. If you leave any questions, I'll try and answer them later on. But 2 weeks time, we'll come together. And then if I'm able to get my husband on board, I'll get him on board. If not, another time, because we have a lot of series in there. We'll talk about marital expectations, marital roles, sex as a whole topic on its own, and then finances. Okay, as for the financial bit, I think my husband will handle it because he works with that. That is his profession, so he will give you tips. So those of you who want to learn how to save, thinking about pension, investment, and those kind of things, he would shed more light into that. So hopefully we get him on board one of these days if his schedule will allow him. Okay, if not, I'll do what I can do. And then I believe that you will learn something from it. Please share this broadcast on your timeline. If you want to join Single with a Life, you can read all about our WhatsApp group on our website, www.singlewithalife.org. Okay, you would have to pass our 8 days orientation and then do the online test before you join us. Okay, we are currently fasting 30 days. Today is the 23rd day since our fasting began. So we've got 7 more days to finish. Yeah, and when we finish, if you want to continue, you can always continue. Okay, if you want to join Married with a Life, the WhatsApp group is currently only opened to the Swalians, the singles in Swal who got married. But we will open the group up later on to the public. At the moment, I think my focus has been more on Swal, so we are not doing much on the WhatsApp group because we are fasting now, and I'm already doing this broadcast on the Moa group. So yeah, so don't worry, you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and you will equally benefit from us. Okay, if you want to invite me to your singles program, your women's program, your conference, please get in touch with me. My number is on the Facebook page. You can contact me on WhatsApp and then we would have a chat about it. Yeah. If you want to sponsor SWAL, if you want to help us in any way, you can get in touch. Our account details are all on the website. If you go on the website, you tap on the donations button, You can donate directly on the website, or you can pay into our account any amount you want to give to support us, because we're planning on our effective singles conference that we want to host every year. So if you want to help us so that we can help our singles, organize the event whereby they get together, meet themselves and learn more, you are welcome to do so. God bless you. God bless you. If you want to join my husband's vision, it's Make It Happen and Purpose Driven Men. They've got a Facebook page and then a WhatsApp group. Okay, so if you want to join the WhatsApp group, you can send me a message. My husband is quite busy. I've got a few people who have sent their numbers on. He's yet to respond to you. He will, but he's quite busy at the moment. So if he has not responded to you yet, please bear with him. He will come on board. Okay, but you can also leave him a message on Facebook, Amewowor. If you go on my timeline piece, Amewowor, you should find all the details there. Okay, so God bless you. Have a wonderful week. Bye.